you're saying that, but you have a album with BSF with some of the craziest features. I think that's way looking at that track list you have, that's way higher of accomplishment than just being on this old podcast.
Nah, man, I gotta give you your due, man.
I
So,
first heard of your shit through Camino, right?
right, yeah, yeah,
So how'd
absolutely.
you meet him?
Yo, I actually had a homie that was friends with him. He had pulled up on me one time to knock out a couple. I think he was supposed to work with a like another artist locally. He might have been like it might have been like a commission, you know what I mean, where he was getting paid. And we kind of just linked. I kind of was just the studio that he pulled up on. And I want to say, man, a few months might when I went by, and he just hit me up and was like, hey, bro, we got a link, man. You know what I'm saying? I like some of the stuff you was doing over there. Let's link. So I was like, whatever. We got up that same day.
And that was your first connection to all that shit?
Um, I mean, Buffalo, I don't know. You've been to the town, you know what it is. Like it's a small big city. Like it's everybody's like one or two connections away from each other. So like,
But I feel like
man, we
people don't, it's so, I'll meet people that don't know each other, and it's like, I know both of y'all from Buffalo. Why haven't y'all, like, I do feel like in a weird way, Buffalo's disconnected too, not to speak as an outsider.
no,
I'm just
no, no.
surprised that people don't know each other who I think would.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially within the hip hop community, man. Guys know each other, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know somebody directly, you know they guy or you know what I'm saying? Like it's just what it is. But yeah, so I mean, I knew a lot of these guys and the guys I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like my peoples knew them. So it kind of like was kind of like easy to kind of like, tie the loose ends together.
Yeah, that's funny because when I interviewed Camino, I guess it was like, I don't even know, 2 or 3 years ago at this point, he was saying that he was looking for a producer. And
Right.
he was like, I just need someone who gets it. And
Yeah, bro.
I always thought stuck with that in the back of my head. And then I saw your progression and I
Right.
don't know, it always clicked. I always thought that was so dope.
No, that's super dope, man. That's dope that you got to see it, understand it, hear where he was coming from at that time, and kind of see the progression of it. The reason I think that kind of worked out real well, is because like even though I do, I love the break beats, I love the higher hitting drum, I love all that stuff, but like my favorite sound has always been like that soulful sound. So he's always had that soulful edge to him. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of was easy for me to build on. You know what I mean? Because it was just naturally what I naturally love to do, man. You know what I mean? Like even outside of the rap music, my favorite music is like 70s soul, 70s funk. You know what I mean? Like so I get it, and I'm able to transfer it over to this world.
Yeah. Were you making that stuff like, how long were you making those type beats?
Man, listen. I've been doing this forever, man. Like seriously, like I just it's just been what I always did, man. You know what I'm saying? Like going back, 15 plus years ago, I was actually getting placements with Dipset. I was doing beats for, Hell Rell, Cameron, different guys like that.
Really?
Some of these artists, yeah, back in the Dipset heyday. You know what I'm saying? I might hit it,
Wow.
but I wasn't like establishing no real relationships. It'd be like just a beat get off, and I never really was able to build that relationship, almost like how I built with Camino or some of these
How did
guys.
that happen, you being from Buffalo and shit?
Man, I just got, man, shoot, just getting in the car and trying to get in on those sessions with the one or two people you know what I mean? And failing a lot of times, and
But were
then
you sending
sometimes,
beats to Dipset and shit? Like, how did that?
well, it was a guy, it was actually a guy here that was bringing him into town, part of
Mm.
promoter and stuff like that. So I was able to get in the room, and that's where I was able to get the guy to the guy's number, and then kind of like, you know how we do, man. We wiggle, we nail tooth claw.
Yeah. What
So,
was your biggest placement from back in those days? And
back
did
in
you
those
go by the
days,
same name?
man, let me see. I'll show you right here. Probably And this is pretty interesting. This is why I hold this up. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but this project right here, I don't know, you might get a
Oh
glare.
yeah, 100%.
You
Yeah.
remember this project?
I do remember that
So,
project.
so you know what's interesting about this project, man? And I don't, it's the track. Let me see. What track is it on here? It's the track Dream. And it's actually,
For people listening, describe what you're holding up.
oh, okay. So this was Shice Bub's of Purple City. This was like his first solo independent album on Baby Grand. And
Legendary project.
yeah, man, for sure, for sure. So and you know what's ironic and crazy about it is the track that I produced, actually Smoke DZA is featured on the track. And I don't know if
Really?
this is Smoke DZA's first placement, but I had never heard of the name yet, me personally. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, so I never even got to talk to DZA about that, which is kind of crazy. I'm surprised that.
You have to talk to him about
Yeah,
that.
I got to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This might,
I'm very interested in that story now of
yeah,
your
for
like
sure.
what happened in between. So for people listening, you have a new album out with BSF.
You talking 15 years later? What happened to the 15-year gap?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
That's what I want to know. But I just, I also want to promote the album because
Yo,
it's an incredible album.
yeah. Yo, I'm glad you asking this question. Basically, I was getting beats off here and there. I got a beat off the Lloyd Banks, different. I was just getting little random one-offs, but nothing was paying the bills, man. And then I had a son on the way. So my son, I kind of was like, you know what, man, I gotta figure out something. Like I can't really feed my son dreams, and I had to put being a dad first. Hopefully one day I could be able to get back into this world. You know what I'm saying, God willing. And man, that's kind of just kind of what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like I stepped to the side, started a contracting business. You know what I mean? Doing roofing and doing this and that, and kind of because I was broke, man. I had to get my bread up. I had to feed my son.
I was roofing too, bro. The worst job.
The worst job. So you already know. So
Yeah, bro. I know it. I know exactly what you're talking.
yeah, so by time I had, you know what I'm saying, got my life in order and stuff like that, you know what I mean? It was just like, yo, the guys from the town was starting to bubble up at the right time. So it kind of was just ironic that I said, yo, I'm gonna give myself 10 years. It took a little longer than 10 years, but uh yeah, at that benchmark, the town started buzzing up, and I'm like, yo, this is perfect, man. There's no way I know my capabilities and what I could bring to it production wise, that I'm not gonna throw my hat in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, had you stepped away fully?
Man, damn near. Like I might have been making a beat here and there just to, heat up the gear a little bit, but I
Hmm.
wasn't like committed at all. Nah, my story is really a story of yo, it's never too late. You could always, get back up off that mat and follow your dream, man.
Yeah, so okay, so you start seeing the dudes bubbling in the city. Who's the first person you hear? When does that make you start producing again?
So it's I kind of was like starting to already produce already, but when it kind of was like, yo, this is an outlet from the town, I think it was like I think I had seen like Mr. T or Rolex, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, what? Like it was that was my first like introduction to like, yo, somebody on the town in the town making noise.
Was Wes?
Yes, yep, yep.
And had you ever heard of him before that?
I hadn't, man. Honestly, I didn't. So it kind of was like, I had to kind of like do my due research and kind of kick it with boys and other guys had at that time. You know what I mean?
Wow. So okay, so then you said you had a studio and that's when Camino came over. So when did you go from being a contractor to open up your studio?
So there's a 3-year gap
Okay.
between Rolex and all that stuff. Maybe a 2-year. So in that meanwhile, you know what I'm saying? I was just honing my craft, man, getting busy, getting tape, getting beats together and stuff like that. And then that's kind of when, I linked up with Camino and stuff like that.
There wasn't like a moment, like there wasn't like a serious mo I don't mean to like harp on this shit,
No,
but
no, harp on it. You got
I
to give
am
the answers.
interested about like
I just, you
it's
know what it
cool that
is?
you chose being a dad, and of course I feel like
Yeah,
you have to. Like
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't I don't like when people don't, you know what I
Right.
mean?
That's
Like
a
I
fact. Because
see
that's
other people do that and I'm like I think you did the right thing because I think a lot of people, if they wanted to do it, they shouldn't have the kid. If I'm be, you
right.
know what I mean?
That's
Where
a
it's like
fact. That's a
you
fact.
shouldn't have the kid and then decide I'm gonna go in all on my dreams. It's like, nah, you made this
Yeah.
decision. You take care of
I
the
had to put my priorities on the back burner, but it's just, I just put my faith in God, man, and did what I had to do. And then when it was time for me to get back in, it just happened to be the fact that, man, the town was starting, opportunities was opening up. And a lot of people, man, like a lot of people was trying to throw their hat in the ring that just, whether the talent wasn't there, the sound wasn't there, whatever it was, things didn't pan. But I mean, hey, for whatever reason, my stuff started to stick. You know what I mean?
You don't why do you think that is?
Um, I'll say, I'll honestly say, a lot of times it's personality, who you are as a person. You know what I'm saying? If you loyal to the soil, obviously the music got to be there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it might have been a few cats that the music was there, but the personality and the person wasn't there. I don't know. I'm just assuming, but that's what I would think it is. Like when I started rocking with Camino, I had my vision and I had my motive that I was very transparent about. But I also wasn't scared to get my hands dirty and put some other work in. You know what I mean? Whether I record a guy or whatever I had to do, you know what I mean, to help boys out. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just about my motive. So I would just say bring more to the table, man. You know what I mean? And be helpful, man, and just be solid. You know what I mean? People within 10 minutes can tell what type of person you are and what you stand for, I feel.
What was your motive?
My motive? My
Yeah,
mo
like you
oh,
were saying you were
yeah,
open
yeah,
with
yeah.
it.
Nah, my motive was to get my music to the next level. You know what I'm saying? To be able to put out a producer album, to be able to put out a tape, build my name to where, an artist, an established dope artist, you know what I'm saying? Like I'd be able to be like, yo, let's do an album together. That's where my drive always was. So, it started, first you got to get your placements with guys, get beats on their album and just, play the long haul. You know what I mean?
I do, but it's crazy. I mean, like you did wait for the long haul, and but I don't think a lot of producers have albums like the outcome. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
I mean, I was just pulling up the list of who's on the album because I feel like I want to. You got Ghostface and West Side Talking on it, which is
Right,
crazy. You doing that.
right,
You
right.
got Conway, two Benny tracks, AZ. You got Stove God. You got Smoke DZA. You
Man, it's
got
stacked.
OT.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
hey,
you did
so
get it to
so
the next level. So, all right. So how did the BSF shit come together? How did you go from working with Camino to getting it to the next level for this album to come?
so yeah, so how that happened was man, me and Camino already had man, we probably already put in like 3 years worth of work. Like, um, man, we probably got 250 unreleased songs. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, that's how much work we done put in the last few years, man. And it just got to a point that as I start collecting these songs, you know what I mean, getting favor for a favor, or some of it being business or whatever it may be, I I collected this album and I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't think about this part first because I might not even started to compile the album. But then I'm like, man, I got this album that could possibly I put out myself and fall on deaf's ear if I don't got the right people working it. You get what I'm saying? And that is a whole nother separate problem. You get what I mean? So I retroactively um tied the loose strings of actually getting the album placed and actually what I'm saying, like the guys behind the scenes uh that I was shopping the album to, as far as getting it distributed. We end up going through Next, And Camino kind of lined that up for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he kind of respected all the sweat equity that I already had put into there. So he knew what I was trying to do. You know, he got me at the table to be able to talk the business out. And shoot, Benny heard about it. You know what I mean? It was net. Benny works closely with Next. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, "Yo, we rock with Ill Tone. So like, yo, let's do it." He heard the album, loved it. You know what I'm saying? Gave his input on some touch ups and different things like that. And man, we put it together. And shoot, the rest is history.
What was different between the album that you first had and the album that came out?
Man, just real small stuff. Like maybe this song need to be tightened up or this just stuff, just small detail
No
stuff.
features or anything changes?
I think I think we had to swap out a guy and I don't really want to say his name that I couldn't clear.
Yeah.
Um but I think we got OT on there at the last minute and I think who else? Man, I gotta look at the album. I gotta think about this. Yeah, I think I end up getting AZ on there last minute.
But you
It
just
was
had all these crazy shits in the tuck?
man, I was just yo, you know what's
Were
wild?
they all like Camino songs at first?
What do you mean? Oh, so I had okay, so boom. Nah. A couple of these I played them, they were for me. I told them straight up, like I need songs. So since we were working together, it was nothing for me to get anything for Camino. He was easy and super
Yeah.
supportive. You know what I mean? So uh yeah, man, I mean
But like you
kind of
got the
just
Conway solo track.
yeah. So that came from that's another person. I don't want to Chad Kemp. I known Chad going back like maybe man, back in the day like 15 almost 20 years ago. I knew his older brother real good too.
Shout out Pay
So
Attend Media Chat.
yeah. Shout out
He
to
said he
Chad.
knew you for a long time, and I was like, "Oh, really? Damn!" When I was texting him yesterday.
Yeah, man, because I was on chat. I'm like, yo, man, I don't know if you got to get Sam in the chokehold or what, man. But
No, because he texted me, and then I had just gotten back from the fourth rope shit in Texas, which is, have you been to one of those yet?
nah, I haven't. I heard they're dope though.
They're dope as fuck. Are you a
Yeah,
wrestling guy?
I'm not, man, but
I wasn't
I,
either
me
until I started
personally,
watching this shit.
as a kid, I was only into the wrestling figures. Like me and my friends would like remember the rink, and we would sit there and like beat each other up with
Yeah.
like I don't know if you remember, we would do this thing where we put the wrestler and have his feet hang off the side of the rink and go 1, 2, 3, let go, and whoever was on top would be the winner. We made all types of games, but like far as
I
like
used to love
watching
that shit.
wrestling, I used to watch it a little bit with my granddad. Um, I remember Texas Tornado. Remember
I
him?
never watched it until I started going to the gun shits.
Yeah. You
And
got into it?
yeah, I got into it now. Like now I'm into it, but it's just
Man,
like I don't know, it's like adrenaline, you know what I mean? Just like watching
right.
people beat the fuck out of each other.
I might have to I might have to open up,
Yeah.
open my mind up to it. Give it a chance.
So so I am interested in the process of the album to coming together. So you just had these songs in the tuck, like you said, oh, you were saying the Chad.
Yeah, along the way, you
Oh,
got
you
to
were
think.
saying the Chad. I cut you
Yeah,
off. I'm
Chad. So
sorry.
Chad was probably around the time just before or right when me and Camino linked. I don't know what happened first. It's going back a few years ago. So yeah, I seen him at a Columbus show. One of my good friends, my dear friends, Happy, he's a promoter here in Buffalo. He was like, "Yo, why don't you ride out to Columbus with me?" Benny and Conway got a show out there, so we rode out there, and cause I think Happy at one time actually managed Benny for like 6, 7 years back in the day. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And we went out there, I was just rubbing shoulders and I wasn't even like, yo, here's my beach, nothing like that. Just there for the show and just build natural relationships, you know what I mean? And yo, Chad happened to be there, man. He rode up on me like, oh my God. And we just caught up there and started building. He's like, yo, listen. you know, yo, I'm starting to manage Conway, man. So, yo, da da da. And I'm like, he's like, yo, you better still be making beats. And I was like, and I'm like, yo, I'm still at it. Actually, I said I didn't want to I didn't really come here with you know, a sales pitch or nothing, but yo, I kind of came out here to start rubbing shoulders. He's like, bro, listen, yo, we got a link Monday, got up, and I kind of told him my plans, and anything with Conway or anything like that, that was already start that was easy at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
So
crazy. So yeah, you just have
yeah,
but that shows that the time and the effort and the connections that you build pay off. And
yeah,
that's
for
cool that
sure.
you and Chad knew each other from long ago.
Long ago. Yep.
That's crazy. And
Yeah,
then
I
how
think.
did the Ghostface shit come?
Man, the Ghostface thing kind of just was like, cause he just was like talking this stuff. So I grew up on Wu-Tang, man. Like, man, I was a kid when Wu-Tang came out. I wasn't even supposed to be listening to it. You know what I'm saying? And so these is like my idols, really, for real, for real. Any of them Wu-Tang guys. So shoot, I think I just DM'd them, you know what I mean? And he said he wanted a couple bucks. It wasn't nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
Yeah.
yo, do whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? He's like, the funny thing is, I'm like, yo, you want me to send you the beat? He like, nah, I'm just gonna do an acapella and you produce around it. So I was like, all right, whatever, it's Ghost. So
Oh, and that's how that shit happened.
yeah, yep,
Oh,
yep.
that's cool. The
Hmm.
album's really cohesive. So what would you say the oldest song on the album is?
The oldest song. The oldest song is probably. So I went on a run early on. You know what I'm saying? I would say probably the outcome, probably number three. Um, and I would say the intro from West. So it would be crazy because I would get a couple songs done, and then 6 months would go by, and I'm trying to like, oh, I want this guy, I want that guy, and nothing would happen. Then I bust out two or three more songs. Then another 8 months would go by. So like this was really, you know what I mean? But I just had my certain beats that I want to use for this, and I just had to be patient too at sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes things will happen really fast, and then I would have gaps at times where I just be locked in, working on stuff, not getting discouraged. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keeping my nose to the ground and just putting that
How
work in.
long has it been done?
What do you mean?
The album, like how long has
Yeah,
it
it
been
took me
done?
it took me 3 years in total, man. So I got a track that might be 3 years old. I might got a track that's 6 months old. You know what I mean? So it's
What
it's
have you been
really.
doing now that this shit's out? Like, what have you been working? Have you been working on other shit? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got man.
because you
I don't know.
fulfilled that goal. You said you wanted like a
Yeah,
producer album. There
right,
really
right.
aren't that many. Like, what producer albums are your favorites?
That's a good question, man. Um, I will say the first person to really open my eyes that it's even possible to really do it the way I do it. I mean, obviously you had back in the day the DJ Clues, and I would always sit there and wonder how much DJ Clue produced on it. Maybe he really did it. Maybe he ghost produced it. Maybe he just DJ'd it. I didn't, you know what I mean? As far as like producer, nah, these is my beats. These beats I picked. These is the rappers. Like I really mastermind this. Like the first project that I felt was like that, and I could be wrong, but it was like First Infantry. You know what I'm saying? Like and that gave me like a thing where it's like, man, if you want to really get your name known and you really want to get the stripes you deserve, man, you got to put out your own projects. Like I did the producer and the credit things for so many years, you know what I mean? Like man, like it that was probably the start of like getting my wheels turning, but I would say any of the Alchemist joints I always dug.
But he was rapping on those too.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. I think he was in a transitional period. I think he even said on his own interviews where he was like, "Man, where do I fall in? Do I rap? Do I produce? Do I do a little? You know what I mean?" So,
Did you ever try?
did I ever try to rap?
Yeah, or like do you ever like, oh, I'm gonna lay a verse down on this shit?
Man, back in the that's how we all started, man. Like we all started out rapping, man.
But
Yo,
I
I
mean, you're
started,
saying you're looking up to the Alchemist album. Are you trying to like put a verse in on one of your projects?
man, you know what? It did cross my mind, but I don't know, bro. Somebody gonna have to twist my arm. I think Jay Skis was trying to get me to do something like that one time, and I'm like, ah, bro, come on, man.
You still record yourself though sometimes?
Uh, nah, I don't record it at all, bro. It take, you know what it is, man.
When's the
Back in the
last
day,
time you got in the booth?
damn, you asking the questions I don't want to answer, man. I love it. You good, man. You gotta do that though. You slick, man. Yo, it's been forever, bro. Be honest with you, but it did cross my mind. Like, yo, I bet you I could slide a verse in on this album, and I was just like, nah, man, I ain't doing that.
I wouldn't hate it. I would like to hear it. I just was wondering,
Hey,
'cause
man,
you said First
you,
Infantry, and when I think of that, I
yeah,
think of like him rapping. You know what I
right,
mean?
right, right, right,
Because he like put himself. Because I guess he was a rapper first, right?
right,
Alchemist
right.
was
I
a
think when he was a
rapper.
kid, right?
Yeah, with like with that act with Scott Kahn or whatever.
Yeah, I heard about that afterward. I had never knew about the history of that. You know what I'm
Did you
saying?
ever hear the
Until
Step Brothers album, him and Evidence?
nah, but
Oh, you gotta check that out, bro. It's him and Evidence going back and forth
for
rapping.
real? What's the name of
Yeah.
it?
Step Brothers.
Step Brothers. I'm gonna have to check that out, man. I
I
bet you
found
it's
it
dope.
way too
Cause
late.
you know what album I really thought was super fire back in the day was The Weathermen. You
Mm,
remember that album?
yes, yeah, of
Yo,
course,
that
yeah.
album, man, that was crazy. Them beats was nuts.
So you would get in trouble for listening to Wu-Tang growing up. So you weren't like rap wasn't like in your household.
Yeah, my parents, man, like so I grew up inner city, east side of Buffalo, right in the pits, man. But I had my mother and my stepdad really had a, they had a close reign on me. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like, man, I wasn't able to listen to nothing with swearing. Like I'd have to listen to someone like Will Smith, or
Were they
like Heavy
religious?
D. Huh?
Were they religious, your parents?
Yeah, I grew up in the church, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still into the church.
Were you making
So
music in church? Were you in the bands
no,
and
I wasn't making music at the church or nothing like that. But my parents, they just was like, man, we really don't want you listening to this. So I would have all my friends, they would get the albums and they would make me dubs back in the day on the cassette tapes.
yeah.
I would have all these tapes in a shoebox hidden, you know what I mean? So
All
so
right. This is so you said you're into church. You go to church.
yeah, yeah.
You can listen to this type of music. What do you think changed in generations? Because I feel like a lot of people, it's like the
Yo,
older generation couldn't get past like art as an outlet, but I feel like the newer generation can.
you know what it is, and it still is a fine line. You still gotta represent who you are and what you stand for with your morals and everything like that. But this is entertainment at the end of the day. Um, I think to answer your question though, I just think that people like, especially the church I'm at, people in church are struggling with we all are trying to balance the balance of right and wrong. You get what I'm saying? And even people in church, man, none of them people is doing it perfect. You get what I'm saying? And I think the older generations used to have a y'all doing it wrong and blah 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 blah. But if you really true to scripture, man, you know that we all struggling, man. We all, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't really no difference between somebody that's in church and somebody that's in the street. The only difference is we see a goal that we trying to shoot for. We still failing, but you know, I think that's the difference though. You know what I mean? So,
It's the trust in a bigger picture.
what do you mean?
Like the trust in a bigger picture, like the trust that even if you are failing, you're failing towards a greater goal or a
Right,
greater
man, get back
good
up off
or
the mat and try harder. You know what I'm saying? Do better today. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I don't judge nobody, man. Like somebody if they're doing something that I wouldn't typically do, I'm not gonna judge them because where I fail at might be something totally different. You get what I'm saying? Like one person might have a gambling issue. One cat might have a drinking issue. One cat might have a porn addiction. I don't know, like just whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what you struggling with might be secretive and you can hide it, but the other person's is out in the open. Like, so if somebody's whatever they struggling with and they out in the open with it, I can't judge them because I got my own stuff. You feel me?
Yeah, I made that post yesterday about it with the Fantano shit, but it's just like I don't like hater shit. I really
Yeah,
don't. I'm not a big fan of hating on things. If I don't like something, I'm not going to pay attention to it or give it
right,
any mind. But I
right,
don't like the like I don't know, the drawing attention to negativity. I feel like that's
right,
holds a lot of people back. You were talking about people way back, like when you started who haven't made it here. I think about that for myself. You know what I mean? I was with Bass, shout out Fuego Bass,
right. Shout out
um,
base.
in Austin. And it was mad funny. He said some shit. He was like, Sam, you like, when you started to now, like you really created something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'd say that to you. That's why I feel comfortable saying this to you because it's like I do feel like the people who haven't made it past in the last 5 years who started anything to now it was a mentality of like jealousy or envy. And if you had that, why do they have that and I don't? Then
Right.
you're going to fall behind the pack.
You really are, man. I mean, I I think Nas said it best, man, when he said hate is confused admiration. I
Hmm.
don't know if you remember when he said that on the beginning of the song. That's my
I
favorite rapper
don't,
of
but
all
I
time.
love that quote.
Yo,
Yeah.
he said hate is confused admiration. So it's kind of like somebody that's knocking on you or hating on you, they really appreciate what you're doing. They don't know how to process it and put it out there in a more positive, you know what I'm saying? Like they're putting a negative spin on it and they don't even know how to like digest it themselves.
Yeah. I
You
feel
know?
that. I feel like if you're like, I'm adamant against something, but it's in the realm that you love, it's like you're really just scared to try that. Like I was so adamant on not doing streaming or not doing podcast or whatever it is. I was so like scared to do it, but that really was the reason I should. Even those, even those, and not to get all whatever, but even those reaction videos I do, I used to watch people and be like, why the fuck are they getting hundreds of thousands of views? And then I was like, wait, but I can put on songs I like, the artists like them and it helps me out. Like I was hating on it because I was jealous that people were doing it and I wasn't.
Yo, I think it's dope that you can recognize that and make an adjustment on how you view it. You know what I mean? I think that's dope that you was able to self-reflect and then make a correction. That's fire.
It's important in life, but I
Yeah.
feel all right, like was there ever a point in these past how many years have you been back on your on your
Man, I've been back
on the
on the
beam?
square for like maybe like 6 years, something
What
like
was the
that.
low point in those 5, 6 years where you almost gave up?
I mean, definitely when you hit one of them ruts where, you're not seeing no progression. You know what I'm saying? And you do have them thoughts, man. I think we all have them thoughts, man, of questioning what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Why is this? You start to, that voice, it's whether or not you take heed to it or you give it any sunlight or any more water to let it fertilize and it's up to you. But I do think it's natural that we all do have that first whisper. You know what I mean? It's how much do you feed it? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's normal, people that go full blown hate mode and stuff like that. I just think they're just people that just let it brew and brew and brew and fed it and fed it and fed it and now it's actually a thing for them. You know what I'm saying? But Bro, I'd be lying to say I didn't have those voices try to speak in my ear, man. I just had to be stronger than that, man, and fight through it.
100%. And that it's like depression where it's like I'm not trying to tell anyone I'm not a doctor. Of course I'm not. Don't take medical advice from me. But it's like
Right.
when you're sad and you start feeding those sad thoughts, you're just going
Hmm.
to become depressed. You're going to
Right.
force yourself
And
into a
then once you
depression.
own it, once you say I'm depressed, oh man, now you done really you
Yeah.
you done validated it. You know what I'm saying? Like so, you know,
Yeah.
it'd be a tough hole to get out of at that point with any negative thought or any negative, thing that you standing on.
Do you have a morning routine?
Yo, it's crazy. Somebody asked me that the other day. Uh, yeah, man. I think I kind of like. So I do got my business, you know what I'm saying? I got my roofing and that's still going and that's still doing good. My partner, he's the morning bird. I'm the guy that I'm the late stay up late guy. So I'm blessed to the point where I get to naturally kind of wake up. I wake up anywhere between it could be 7:30 or 9 o'clock, somewhere between there. I naturally wake up whether I'm doing a job or I'm just gonna be getting busy in the studio. Um I just kind of wake up naturally. I kind of try to be mindful, you know what I'm saying? Be thankful before I even grab my phone and start scrolling. Even though that's hard because they got us all wrapped up in that. I just try to be mindful. I go and get my coffee, kind of get my thoughts together, kind of decide, am I creative today? Do I feel, sometimes I got the luxury to fall back and kind of reflect and plan. Sometimes I got to get busy and produce and come up with new ideas. You know what I mean? Um, and then I kind of come to a point where it's like, okay, you got to get busy. Well, sometimes I'm feeling naturally motivated. Sometimes I got to put on some stuff that motivates me. You know what I mean? If I'm not motivated that day, I'm gonna play some old school, some old school soul, some old school funk, some old school, maybe some Wu-Tang or something that inspires me, kind of get the ideas rolling and then shoot, just start dropping the needle on the wax myself, you know what I mean? And seeing what moves me, you know?
Yeah. What's your favorite way to dig?
Oh, I dig every way, bro. I don't, man, you got the purists out there that they hate on e-digging. I e-dig. I still vinyl dig. I still go in the shops. I don't care if it's an old box of VCR tapes. Like I say every way and always, really, because I think if you shut down one lane, you just kind of like limiting where you digging from. I will say this though. I think producers do got to get back to doing more than just e-digging because I find that a lot of guys are bumping across the same sounds nowadays because they're putting in the same trigger words like um obscure soul. You get what I mean? Then they're running across the same playlist that other people made and you know what I'm saying? So I still do that. I just try to get a little more creative with my searches maybe, but I also understand that we
You gotta get
gotta,
that thesaurus out.
huh?
You gotta get
Gotta
that
get the
thesaurus
thesaurus.
out.
Yo,
Yeah.
you know what? Edit that out, man. I need this tip, man, myself. About to get me a thesaurus today.
Yeah, just start looking up what are other words that obscure.
What's obscure? Yeah, basically, you know what I mean? So I just say every and all ways, man. I don't really limit myself that
Yeah.
my favorite is vinyl digging, but
What's the
uh
best shop in Buffalo?
you said what?
What's the best shop in Buffalo?
Man, probably Revolver Records, man. They got it on lock here, man. They got about, man, 6, 7, 8, 10 shops and they all like filled with good stuff, man. Definitely. But we also got, you know what? I gotta get out here because I ain't been out there in a while. The best spot though is a spot in Rochester. Rochester, if you know, is like an hour away. They got a spot called Record Archive. Man, this is like a mat. This might be the biggest vinyl collection that I know of. It might be the biggest in the United. You ever heard of it?
No, never heard of it. I gotta go check
Like
it out next time I'm there.
super, man, huge, big spot, man. Just like miles of records, bro. Record
Damn.
Archive.
I can't believe I never heard of that place. So
Yep,
you've
yep.
dug there before?
You said what?
You've dug there before?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Is
And
there beef between Rochester and Buffalo? I feel like y'all don't really go to each other's cities that much.
I didn't hear your question.
Is there beef between Rochester and Buffalo? I feel like y'all don't go to each other's cities that much. Like when I
Oh,
talk to people
man,
from
I
both.
don't, I've heard people say little crap here and there. I haven't got that vibe. You know what I'm saying? My wife is from out there. You know what I'm
From
saying?
Rochester?
Yeah, she's from West Henrietta. You know what I'm
I like
saying?
Rochester.
Yeah, Rochester's cool, man.
Very different vibes. You guys are
Think
super
so?
close, but different vibes. Yeah.
What do you see the difference? What do you see different between Rochester and Buffalo?
I feel like Buffalo is more connected. Like I feel like people in Buffalo know each other more, and
Yeah.
Rochester seems like fake snootier. I don't mean to
Mm.
talk shit, but like a lot of like I don't know.
You know what's crazy?
It's like
I
more
heard
gentrified kind of.
so somebody said this one time and it made a lot of sense because Buffalo is bigger than Rochester maybe by like 15%. They're close in size. Buffalo might be a little bit bigger, but someone said one time they said Buffalo is a small big city and Rochester is a big small city. I was
Mm.
like, dang, that hit. I'm like, yo, that's kind of true. I don't know how to explain it, but it felt
Yeah.
right. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Do you get that vibe?
I do get that vibe. Have you ever thought
Yeah.
about leaving Buffalo or you're there?
I do from time to time, man, because these winters is getting crazy. It's just the winters, man. But if the winters could be like instead of 3.5 months long, it could be 2 months. It'd be a lot better.
Well, I
Cause
live on top of a mountain, a ski mountain.
do you?
So like yeah, so like in the I could give which one, but like in the middle of
Man, I see them
nowhere.
trees in the window, man.
Yeah, bro, this is literally just all woods. Like there was a
Wow,
wolf in my driveway when I got home last night.
that's crazy. That's
Actually, no,
fire.
2 nights ago, because I got home this morning because I wasn't home. I'd left fettuccine Alfredo in the microwave, and that shit
Right.
stunk because I had
Oh
left it
man.
there like 48 hours.
Yeah, that's wild, man. So you know about the winters, man.
I know about the winners. So
You
what
know
do you
about
have coming?
you said what?
What do you have coming for music?
Man,
What are you
so
working on now?
I got a couple collaborative albums with a couple decent big names, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if we ever put any press out. I don't even know if I'm able to say who, but I wouldn't mind. I don't want to betray nobody though. Dang, Tone, you announce it on
Mm.
Buck
Well,
podcast.
do you want to say it and then if you can't, we'll edit it out?
That's
Or do you
that's
want
fair.
to,
That's fair. That's fair.
you
Yeah,
could ask him, you could
so
be like,
nah,
yo, I talked
nah,
about
that works. I got a full project with a double EP coming out with Jay Skis. So
fire.
yeah, it's the name of that joint's gonna be called The Good Part. And we're gonna do like a movie theme based like where we reenact skits from the best movies and we do all the art based around these different actors like the White Men Can't Jump and you know what I mean, Training Day, and kind of put our faces on you know what I mean. We're just gonna do it with a this is the good part. Like it's no left out, it's no trash songs on here. You know what I'm saying? Like me and him got in here. I want to say we started last year. We started the process, man, and we just kept making music, and we didn't even realize how much good music we had, bro. Like it wasn't like no throwaways, man. We might have had one song that wasn't our favorite, but it was like, man, like we got more than an album's worth, man. Maybe we could do a 3 EP set where it's like 3 8 songs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To where these songs are so good that we didn't want to put them all on one project to where songs get lost. So we wanted to condense them, but still space them out in a way. So that's kind of how we came up with these, you know, three album, 8 songs a piece. You know what I mean? Full themed out projects.
That's dope as hell. Anyone on them?
Man, so we got obviously we got a lot of the hometown guys. We got Conway on there, obviously. We got Consequence on there. We got what's my guy's name, man?
And he
Um
loved the genius.
you said what?
And he loved the genius. I love when they work together.
Man, you know what? That ain't out the question. That could happen. I might put that request in.
I feel
And
like they sound so good together. I want them to
yeah,
put more music out together.
yeah, no, that'd be fire, man. Corey Gunn's on the project.
Fire.
Um, man, yeah, we got some pretty crazy names that we're looking good to, you know, place, but it just didn't pan just yet. But it's still early in the process of getting the features together.
So when's the first one? Like, when's it looking?
Man, I'm thinking, you know what's crazy? I'm gonna tell you this time, but it's probably not gonna happen. Shoot, maybe
That's how it always happens.
the end of April we were shooting for, but man,
Yeah.
this could be midsummer. I don't, you know what I mean? But soon, that's probably the next big thing for me.
And then what's the other collab album you got
Man,
coming?
obviously I got a full soul tape with Camino, you know what I mean, where we're gonna do a soul tape.
Fire.
Um, yeah, man. I got a bunch of songs with him. That we might turn into something, you know what I mean? So it's some stuff on the line. Plus I got a couple guys that I don't want to jinx it yet.
No, no, no.
I gotta
If it isn't sentenced, yeah,
yeah, if
don't
it's
do.
not set in stone, I ain't gonna put it out there. But I got a big legend, like legendary guy that I'll probably be doing an EP with, but it ain't all the way set in concrete.
If you could do an EP with anyone, who would it be?
Man, I told you my favorite rapper is Nas, so that
Nas?
would be crazy. So I'd be happy just to get a track with him one day. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Hey, you know what's so fun? Have you ever heard the song Maybach Curtains?
Maybach Curtains. Whose
It's
song is that?
Nas, Meek Mill, John Legend, Rick Ross.
I probably did hear it. I just don't remember the
That's
title.
one of my favorite beats of all time. I was just talking
What's it
to
called?
yeah.
I'm about to put this in my notes.
Maybach Curtains.
Maybach Curtains.
That one's yeah. That one's one of my favorite. Yo,
I'm gonna
Nas
check
is
for it.
great for that. People thought I was serious. That video of me shitting on all the famous rappers, like modern rap fans be like, people thought I was serious that I didn't know who Nas was. I was like, who doesn't know who Nas is?
What you did it as a joke?
Yeah, I had my friend name every famous rapper, and I was like, don't know him, trash.
Uh,
It's like modern rap fans.
yo, you know what's wild? That's one thing that I think kind of helped me develop my style. Not to make up a question for you, but
Oh, do it.
yeah. You touched on something. So man, so you edit these videos, right?
If things needed to be edited, yes, but I
Okay.
usually just like to keep it real.
So I could give you if this is can this part be off?
Yeah. Anything that
All
can.
right. So I kind of got a little bit of the story about how if you want to kind of like ask the question, I kind of can tell you kind of how the Buffalo Sound came about a little bit
Hmm.
in the Pacific bar that it actually kind of started birthed and it's kind of helped me develop my style. You know what I'm saying?
So there was a bar in
It
Buffalo.
was actually called Broadway Joe's. Like the
Oh,
song
like the
West Side Guns got
song.
a song called Broadway Joe's.
Hmm.
But I don't know how you would segue into that or if
We could just talk about it right now.
okay, so yo, it was a so it was a spot, you know what I'm saying, on the east side, almost North Buffalo, border. It was a spot called Broadway Joe's, you know what I'm saying? And it was a platform where people would come up there and just perform. It was like open mic. I think it was every Thursday. And it was like the backpackers, the purists, the hip hoppers, you know what I'm saying? And then you had like the trap rappers it was a unique space, man. It was like something um I never seen before. You know what I'm saying? It was almost similar to how Seattle created grunge music with Nirvana. You know, they had a bar up there in Seattle where all these bands got together and they kind of like threw different sounds at the wall, and that's kind of how like grunge music was like birthed. I don't know if you know the story about that.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so you can look into that later. But I would say, you know, Buffalo hip hop, a big part of the sound and just what it was really came out of Broadway Joe's, man, and Baby Steps. I think that was the name of the program that was under Broadway Joe's, was this spot called, it was a showcase called Baby Steps. And I'm telling you, man, it was just so dope to see the purists and the trap rappers, and nobody hated on each other. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody was like, ah, your stuff's whack. Like, cause I remember back in the day, a lot of that used to go on. Like that ain't real hip hop, and then the other people would be like, "Ah, you do that old school stuff," and you know, but it was none of that. It was boys rubbing shoulders, and we was actually influencing each other in a way. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and it was super dope, man. And I think,
Who started that program?
man, it was actually you could if you do the Googles, there's a group that was signed to Fat Beats called Pseudo Slang, and that was Tone Atlas and MC Sick. They actually had a record deal way back with Fat Beats. You know what I'm saying? And MC Sick was like you know what I mean, the founder of that, you know, Baby Steps.
Mhm. And that's
But
how that started. And that was
you said
kind of
what?
like, and that's how that started. You were saying that's how the Buffalo Sound started coming
I,
about.
I believe so. I believe so. Because
What
the
was
only
the
reason
first
why,
time you went?
the first time I went,
Yeah.
yeah, I was probably like 19, something like that, up in there. You know, I was working with an artist at the time, named Strategy, and he was getting busy, you know what I'm saying? And I just thought it was a dope space, man, because like we actually would learn stuff from the boom bappers or the trap guys, or and we could kind of melt certain things that we felt would translate over good into our music. Kind of became like almost like a hybrid of sounds, you know what I mean? From just embracing each other and not hating on each other.
But
You
it's
know what
not
I mean?
around anymore.
Oh no, no, that's it's boarded up, I think. I don't know. I don't know
When
what's
did
going
it
on.
close?
Man, I want to say, man, I'm probably gonna get it all messed up, but maybe the last time I remember it, maybe 2014,
Oh, so
12.
it was before the sound even like happened.
Yeah, but it was the birth of just us getting like I know all the rap boom bap and break beats with samples and stuff was already kind of dead, but we was still doing it. You get what I'm saying? And it was
Yeah.
still people up there having ciphers after the place would close. They would be in front of Broadway's Joe's and rap ciphers, and it was just like, you know what I mean? Like, and everybody would be invited, like people that did all kinds of different styles of hip hop. You know what I mean? It was just, man, it was a unique space.
And when did you realize Buffalo Sound was becoming something?
Honestly, I thought it was dead until, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I heard the Mr. T's and
How
Rolex.
did you hear Mr. T for the first time?
That's a good question. I don't, somebody sent me the link. I can't even remember, but somebody sent me the link on YouTube, and I want to say it was right around the time that getting a professional looking video you were able to do. You get what I'm saying? I think that was big for the movement, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you could actually produce a quality, high-end video and get it out there. You know what I'm saying? It was at the very beginning of that. You know what I mean? And then 5 years later, everybody's got freaking videos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like with just the technology. So I think when those came out, the technology was just there and it was, you know, that was cashed in on because it gave a big look. When you seen them videos, you was like, dang, this look big and it sound good. Like you're like, wait a minute, you know?
Yeah. You're like,
So
what's going on? Yeah. That's
right, right. And
100% true. A high quality video
right.
really does make the song better in a weird way.
Yeah, and I think that was at the very beginning of that even being able to be possible. on unless you had $1 million budget.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so
Bro, I can't believe the budget on some of these music videos I hear.
I don't
Millions of dollars.
I don't think they spending. You think they still spending on videos?
I heard about I think the major ones, yes, they are. Like,
Really?
but I think it's also I think a lot of it is money laundering. I
It
don't
might
think
be.
those videos are costing as much as they say they are, but like if you
Right.
look at some of the, I don't even want to say names, but if you look at the major industry numbers, I'm like, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
People aren't enjoying this as much as it's like being inflated to. Or like, do you use Apple Music or Spotify?
Man, I use both.
I'm an Apple Music guy, but I feel like they always are promoting the same songs after you stop playing your music, and they're
Yeah.
always like label songs.
It's man, somebody's always getting paid, man.
That
I think
bro,
to the end of time, man, people are gonna be getting paid to be highlighted in a certain way, and that's just what it is, bro.
I
That's
saw that I know a dude who can buy you a double XL freshman spot.
that's crazy.
Like,
Yeah. Yo,
you
that's
know what
crazy.
I'm saying? Like, that
It
shit's
shouldn't be
fucked
like
up.
that.
I saw once you see behind the curtain, you know what I mean? You're like, damn. All
That's
right,
really what it is.
that's really what it is.
Everybody's being sold to, basically.
Yeah.
We're all product and we're all purchasers.
For real though. And then it's just
Yeah.
hopefully the good shit rises, you know?
That's what we hope for, man. And that's why um I think I had that's what I think's dope about you, man, is I've seen you, man, I've seen you not to throw shade on anybody, but I've seen you, interview the biggest of people and but you wasn't also against interviewing some guy that maybe holds the curtain open. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's super dope because I feel like I feel like you highlight the people you think are dope.
I
That's fire.
appreciate that. I appreciate that because that's always what I wanted to do. I never wanted to be like a media platform. I never wanted to be, I just want to talk to the people I like and tell my dumb jokes on stage.
Right.
And
I gotta go.
I always
I
like
gotta see you
finding
on stage one time, man.
what'd you say?
I gotta see you on stage. Did you perform at
Oh yeah, you
Helium?
do. I got to do a show in Buffalo that wasn't Drum Work Fest, which I
Yeah. I could have
bombed
swore.
at.
Did you do Helium?
I haven't done Helium yet.
Okay. Okay.
Tony did Helium before me.
Right. Damn. You got beat out by Tone, man.
I got beat out by. But
Funny.
anyway, man, I can't believe we've already done an hour. It's been great talking, and I would love to do something in person sometime next time I'm
Man,
in
whenever.
Buffalo.
I'm
But
down for it all, bro.
as I said, I want to promote good music, and your album is amazing.
Man,
Um,
thank you, man.
I love it. People can go find it on all streaming platforms. The
Right.
Outcome with BSF. There's Conway, Benny, AZ, Stove God. Everybody's on that shit, and all the beats you killed. So thank you again.
Man, respect. I appreciate it, man.
All right, let me hit end.